Thank you, Mr. Welch. Next is Mr. McKinley, recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I read through this bill, you reminded me of a kid in a candy store. You could have had anything you wanted in this legislation. You're chairman of the most powerful committee in Congress. Your party's in control of the House. But then you went into the candy shop and you left with a stick of gum. We had the opportunity to do something bold and robust on energy infrastructure. But this committee so far is aiming low. This is the Energy and Commerce Committee. After 5 months in the majority, is this really the best that this committee can do on energy infrastructure? Yes, we've got aspects of modest initiatives in broadband, drinking water, and healthcare and brownfields, and some of that I'll support with you. And I realize there may be jurisdictional limitations, but with all the hype about what we need on a comprehensive infrastructure bill, why haven't we sought a bolder, broader, more comprehensive, bipartisan approach to this, but not one with just 31 Democrats on the bill and no Republicans. There are numerous bipartisan bills that could have been included in this. The 48A tax credit by Colin Peters, the gas turbine efficiency, Paul Tonkos, or Scott Peters, the Use It Act. The Lift American Act was billed as a sweeping legislation to combat climate change, and yet it glaringly omits authorizing energy research to produce innovation and solutions and research. Research including carbon capture and storage, gas turbine efficiency, methane hydrates, battery storage, fugitive methane emissions, alternative to lithium-ion batteries and cobalt, rare earth elements, wireless power transmission, hydrogen fuel cells, small nuclear and modular coal plants. Keep in mind, Mr. Chairman, America currently spends more money on eating potato chips than it does on research and energy. Mr. Chairman, we had a chance to put together a package that you wanted. You had the keys to the candy store. So let's be bold and include some bipartisan measures that gives this bill a chance to pass the Senate and be signed into law. The American people deserve better. To win the big game, Michael Jordan knew he had to have the confidence to take that last shot, that game-winning shot, when he had the chance. Instead of taking that risk, this committee appears to be passing the ball. It's a lost opportunity. So, Mr. Guth, if I could ask you on this question, you mentioned Scott Peters' Use It Act in your testimony. Would more innovation and research be beneficial to addressing the infrastructure problems we have on energy, and particularly as it relates to combating the climate change challenges that face? Would innovation and research be helpful?
Most definitely. I mean, climate change is inherently a technology issue, but it's also an infrastructure issue. And there is significant scientific consensus that specific technologies are most likely, no guarantee, to be key to addressing, to lowering emissions and ultimately preventing emissions globally. One of them is carbon capture, utilization, and storage. In order to, one end of that obviously is capturing the carbon, which in and of itself is a challenge, but we're seeing significant innovation happening there. But then the other end is what you do with it. So you need to have the infrastructure to move it and then to ultimately sequester it geologically or otherwise permanently. And the Use It Act is a great first step in pairing with the fiscal policy that Congress has put in place in order to make it easier to cite and permit those projects and also incentivize them. And that is a key step forward for U.S. innovation that will hopefully lead the globe in a move towards a much less emitting and ultimately not emitting economy.
Thank you. I mean, there's so many things on the capturing the carbon. We get oxy-combustion, we get chemical looping. There's so many things we could do, but we have a chance in this bill, and we omitted it. We could have authorized more research to go for it. So Again, I yield back balance of my time.